Chiang Kai-shek was born in Zhao. His father, Zhang Zhaogong, and his mother, Wang Kaiyu, were members of the upper middle class. His father died when he was only 8 years old. The death of his father at a young age probably hardened him as a child. For Chinese culture, the man is the most important person in the house, and at the age of only 8, he was given almost all the responsibilities of a full-grown adult. Chiang began his military education when he went to the Baodang Military Academy in northern China. Then, he transferred from that school to the Rikugan Shikan Gakko in Japan. There, he made a lot of friends who encouraged him to become a part of the revolutionary movement to overthrow the government. On his way to doing so, he served for 3 years in the Japanese army. Here, he learned and adopted the ideals and strategies that the Japanese used in war, that he could one day bring to China and introduce them as his own ideas to shaping China's militaries into a great fighting machine. Chiang had 3 wives before he finally settled down with his longest and most famous wife, Elang Song. Elang was an American educated and a devoted Christian. She became not only her husband's wife, but his English translator, secretary, and a figure for nationalism in China. She was also the second woman to ever address the Joint Senate in the House, making her a big part of America's support of China in World War II. In April of 1927, Chiang moved his army into Shanghai and led a gory killing rampage in anger against the Communist Party. Many influential communist rulers were killed in this great massacre. But Mao Zedong, who later went on to rule the Communist Party, escaped. This bloody betrayal catalyzed the Chinese Civil War of 1949. Chiang then journeyed to Russia to find examples of successful rule. He met many Soviet rulers but decided that the Bolshevik rule was not healthy for China. Upon his return to China, Sun Yat-sen appointed him Commandant of the Whampoa Military Academy. On March 12, 1925, Sun Yat-sen was found dead. The Kuomintang needed a new ruler, and Chiang was more than willing to take the job. On July 27th, Chiang set out on a campaign called the Northern Expedition. The goal of the Northern Expedition was to defeat all opposition and unify China under the control of the Kuomintang. He killed more than 12,000 people in April of 1927, which scared communists into submission. This also secured his power at the head of China. For a few years, he ruled China successfully, but his rule was interrupted in 1931. When Japan invaded Manchuria, Chiang resigned from power. However, he resumed his position as a ruler shortly. He ignored Japan's invasion and focused instead on defeating the Communist Party. But in 1932, when Japan attacked Shanghai, Chiang's focus was finally drawn away from eliminating communists. After Japan was stopped in Shanghai, Chiang was determined once again to crush the Communist Red Army. After a series of grueling cat-and-mouse type battles with the communists, Mao Zedong's Red Army gained the upper hand. Chiang then lost control of the mainland and took power instead in Taiwan. In Taipei, he led the White Terror. Under the White Terror, hundreds of thousands of people were killed and arrested for threatening Chiang's government. Chiang died of a heart attack on April 5, 1975, when he was 87 years old. Chiang Kai-shek successfully united China through the nationalist power of the Kuomintang. From his birth on October 31st to his death on April 5th, Chiang Kai-shek sought power ruthlessly and achieved unimaginable success.